The 혼일강리역대국도지도 map is the world's oldest world map. Although different in form compared to Western world maps, it is evaluated to be the best world map at the time in the East and West. It is also recognized as the first map to depict the African continent in whole. Despite Korea's such interest in Africa, in reality, the relationship between Korea and Africa has lagged behind to an extent since modernization. After the Korean War, Korea went from a recipient country of international aid to a donor as an economic and cultural powerhouse. Recently, Africa's potential has come under the spotlight thanks to the diversification of global supply network. More countries are seeking to strengthen the relationship with Africa due to the high expectations on Africa and its role as a driving force behind the global economy. Cooperations with Africa, the rising future market, is no longer a choice, but a necessity. On one spring day in April 2024, special guests from Africa arrived in Korea. A delegation of 12 people, composed of members of the press and government officials from 11 major African countries, including Nigeria, Egypt, and Kenya, is here to cover Korea-Africa cooperation ahead of the 2024 Korea-Africa Summit that will be held in June. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity from Nigeria also participated in this event. For the next 5 days, they will be visiting institutions involved in the cooperation with Africa and cover the current status of and future plans of Korea-Africa cooperation projects that Korea is promoting to report back home. They're excited to be covering various future projects that Korea and Africa plan to cooperate on. Since the beginning of Yoon administration, Korea has been focusing more on its diplomatic relationship with Africa. They visited Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which works hard to promote cooperative relationships, exchanges, and understanding in diverse areas such as politics, economy, security, and culture with diverse countries.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, welcome to Korea, and I think you have very good program. Pleased to receive your question about Korea-Africa relationship and the summit.
The question is related to what my colleagues have said, but I just wanted to know.
The guests from Africa, who are very interested in expanding diplomatic ties with Korea, asked many questions during the interview with government officials from the ministry.
How can Korea share its experience and help the African continent overcome the challenge of the future? Is there any comprehensive project that includes the training to African staff in different areas of knowledge in South Korea?
As a strategic partner in facilitating Africa's proactive strive toward a promising future, Korea is planning to enlarge its financial support to Africa in various ways. Last September, the Korean government pledged to double its official development assistance to Africa by 2030, as I mentioned.
Hoping that the relationship between Korea and Africa will be strengthened before the Korea-Africa Summit in June, they continued to ask questions.
I think most African leaders are looking to the summit too. I particularly am looking forward to the summit in June, and I think that Nigeria will be represented at a very high level at that summit. We can only expect that summit will help take the relationship between South Korea and Nigeria to another level. So I hope that during that meeting, during that high-level summit, Nigeria and South Korea can further sit down and develop areas of mutual cooperation, going forward.
KORAIL has been carrying out the largest infrastructure project in Tanzania's history that connects Africa since a decade ago. Visit on their schedule was to Korea Railroad Corporation, which is one of the main means of transportation for the Korean people.
2.5 years from
Korea is currently offering consultation to 3 African countries on this subject, and many African countries are still yet to implement standard gauge railway projects.
KORAIL aims to transfer its knowledge to African countries. Fortunately, there is a rising trend in utilizing the Korean government's ODA programs for Africa. Leveraging these programs, KORAIL intended to expand its business operations to more African countries.
Zain Sherfawi from Algeria is especially interested in the railway industry in Korea.
Alors oui, effectivement, depuis la partition du Soudan, l'Algérie est le plus grand pays d'Afrique. Alors, les moyens, on peut le faire par avion, par train, par route. Et depuis ces 20 dernières années, alors l'Algérie investit énormément dans le développement des chemins de fer, surtout pour relier la région nord du pays avec la région sud. Et donc chaque année, la part du transport ferroviaire augmente et à l'avenir donc le transport ferroviaire va encore se développer et il y aura d'autres investissements qui seront consentis dans le secteur.
They visited Korea Foundation, which is like a bridge between Korea and the world. The Korean wave, which has swept across the world, has also been quite popular in Africa. Consequently, they were very eager to visit Korea Foundation. Thanks to the huge global popularity of Korean cultural content, Korea Foundation is faithfully carrying out its role as a bridge. However, the exchanges with Africa have not been so active until now. It plans to accelerate and strengthen its cooperation with Africa in the future.
Question with that, because this issue of imperialism is so ingrained just in the world as it functions. What would you say you've had to really grapple with, and what have been like your biggest challenges?
개발을 위한 협력 사업들은 주로 하드웨어 쪽에 굉장히 많이 포커싱이 되어 있습니다. 그래서 사실 우리 코이카 사업이 굉장히 적합한 지역이기 때문에 한국 정부는 이 일을 해소하기 위해서 한 아프리카 재단까지 설립을 해놓은 상태입니다. 향후에는 무슨 우리가 지금 온라인 이런 여러 가지 소통 수단이 발달했기 때문에 충분히 극복하고 앞으로도 속도를 낼 수 있을 것이라고 생각을 합니다.
Currently, Korea has a cooperative relationship with 38 countries in Africa. In 2023, Korea designated Africa as a strategic region and is expanding exchanges.
한국국제교류단이 아프리카 지역과는 굉장히 협력을 많이 해왔는데 향후 이 지역의 중요성은 점점 커집니다. 따라서 아프리카 지역, 중동 지역을 아우를 수 있는 저희 해외 사무소를 조만간 설치를 해서 더욱더 심도 깊은 협력 사업을 발굴하고 진행할 수 있는 이런 계획을 갖고 있습니다.
Also, the interest in Korea is higher than ever in Africa, thanks to the Korean wave. So it is believed that the cultural exchanges with Korea will bring Korea and Africa closer.
And I think we need to also meet more, we need to see more, we need to try to know each other more so that it helps business relationship, cultural relationship, economic relationship, everything all together.
Taekwondo, one of the original contributors to the popularity of Korean Wave, is loved by many Africans. This place, where flags of countries around the world flutter in the wind, is Kukkiwon World Taekwondo headquarters. This is where Korea's national martial art, Taekwondo, Poom and Dan promotion tests are held. And Taekwondo leaders are trained in order to introduce Taekwondo to the public far and wide. They are captivated by the moves that are aggressive, yet artful, as if dancing. The staff of Kukkiwon also prepared a special concert for our African guests.
이번에 선보인 다이나믹 태권도 연이라는 작품은 태권도를 통해 다양한 인연이 만들어지고 서로 다른 문화와 이념이 함께 공감하며 소통하게 되는 의미를 담아 만들었습니다. 이번 아프리카 기자단 분들의 방문을 기념해 준비한 작품입니다.
I'm so amazed about the ability of the taekwondos. They are too fast, they are very interested, and a lot of discipline has gone into this work. I really love it.
Jumping was a rare experience for me. I really enjoyed. It's quite a marvel for an African to be getting first-hand practice of Taekwondo.
An automobile exhibit where they can see the latest Korean technology. They had a chance to enjoy a unique experience that involved everything from automobile production using robots to future cars. Korea, which is the 5th largest automobile maker in the world, is gradually becoming a global car industry country that will lead the global automobile market in the future.
Zambia has actually positioned itself to start, partnering with, car manufacturing companies to manufacture car, electric vehicle batteries, which are obviously copper being one of the major, components that is required. So very soon you will see Zambia obviously making strides in partnering or attracting investment into the country to attract people that can come and invest in the country and possibly, make this, resource available and obviously benefit the Zambian people who are in much need of, economic development.
Another thing that you can't forgo mentioning when it comes to the cooperation with Africa is the KOPIA workshop.
African countries, the rice consumption is increasing by 6% every year due to population growth. Production fails to keep pace with demand.
Agriculture is the foundation of economic development, and the green revolution that swept across Korea in the past is now spreading widely in Africa. Agriculture is a key industry in Africa, which is why they are interested the most in the workshop held by KOPIA.
It's a very important venture because for us food security is a crucial part of the economy that they are bringing to Kenya to help us improve our own yields and productivity. So it's a very important thing that the Koreans are doing, and it will help improve our own production.
And then we are going to take some questions from the members of the press. RDA has been investing.
KOPIA currently works hard to introduce the agricultural techniques and knowledge it has accumulated in the past 60 years and cooperate with other countries.
Smallholder farmers and also
It is especially contributing much in the development of sustainable farm villages with the agricultural methods that have been customized for Africa.
아프리카와 함께 크게 두 가지 사업을 진행을 하고 있습니다. 하나는 코피아 사업이라고 해서 이쪽 양자 협력 사업인데 한국의 최고 농업기술 전문가를 아프리카 현지 국립연구기관에 파견을 해서 함께 연구하는 활동을 하고 있고, 또 하나는 카파시 한아프리카 농식품 기술협력 협의체 사업이라고 해서 아프리카 각국과 농촌진흥청이 함께 공동의 주제를 가지고 연구를 하는 그리고 기술을 개발해서 보급하는 그런 활동을 하고 있습니다.
They visited KDI, a Korean government agency that conducts policy research.
Let's travel back in time to the year 1945, which is the start of modern Korean history. Shall we begin?
Korea, which had received aid from various countries after the Korean War 50 years ago, is now helping African countries to grow through ODA. Here, they had a good time getting an overview of Korea's economic development that made it the first country to go from a recipient country to become a donor. After the tour, they had a chance to learn more about Korea.
I am here because of an opportunity, not just my voice. This is just to let you know that I love this place.
Sam Ojiri, a Ghanaian who came to Korea in 2009 as an international student, met with them and told them of his experiences in Korea.
So I think with regards to the Korean-Africa partnership, I think it's important for mutual understanding and respect. We have to understand that we're partners, and there are a lot of things that we stand to mutually benefit from each other. But respecting and understanding our positions, it's really going to enhance our relationship and is going to yield long-term, fruitful relationships that are going to be beneficial for both Korea and several African countries.
They also held a futuristic and informative discussion, Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation, with a professor from KDI.
Now, the question is, how do you balance, inclusive development with regards to education with the high levels we are currently experiencing in most economies at the moment?
At KDI, we organize and facilitate consultative dialogues between policy practitioners and experts in partner countries in Africa and South Korea. Ongoing projects include a project in Madagascar focused on the agricultural sector development, and a project in Tanzania to help strengthen the infrastructure for the new administrative capital in Dodoma. And we have many students coming to South Korea to learn about the development experiences in this country and also to equip themselves with a toolkit to handle the challenges in the new age. At KDI, we believe the South Korean development experiences are a very valuable asset worth sharing, and we take this job seriously.
There's been a lot of difference. The difference stems up for the fact that there's a smooth in terms of transportation, in terms of logistics. People have moved in, people use the facility a lot, and it's improved communication, it has improved transportation, and so a couple of things that has happened has improved the lives of people in the city.
The DMZ, located at the northernmost border of Korea, African journalists showed a big interest in the DMZ as well. Imjin-gak Pavilion, which is located 7 kilometers south of the military demarcation line, still shows the scars of Korean War from more than 70 years ago. Near the pavilion, a certain landmark stopped them in their tracks. It is a sculpture made of rocks collected from 86 war zones in 64 countries around the world. Africa also has many countries that experience the pains of war.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have more time because I just feel like it's a deeply sort of emotional kind of space, like a lot of conflict and a lot of people's pain is kind of embodied here. So I think it's a sobering moment in being in South Korea and what it took for South Korea to be where it is today.
Everyone seems to be excited to be at Lotte Tower, the world's fifth tallest building, from where you can see all the progress that Korea has made. Yachting and night tour on the Hangang River that cuts across Seoul, as well as Yeonimpap lotus leaf rice dinner at a cozy Hanok restaurant. And Korea's traditional tea and snacks allowed them to enjoy dynamic Korea to the fullest. The African members of press all commented that this had been a great opportunity to get up close and personal with Korea's diplomacy, economy, culture, agriculture, transportation, and security.
Thank you so much. We hope the Zimbabwe and Korea relationship will continue to strengthen over this, and we hope to develop each other's economy as we continue to strengthen our bilateral ties.
Présentement, l'Afrique a quand même besoin de s'ouvrir et il y a des leaders au Sénégal qui viennent d'accéder au pouvoir, qui quand même ont besoin de s'ouvrir sur le reste du monde, de multiplier les partenaires. Et c'est une chance pour la Corée quand même. Je pense que la Corée doit profiter de cette opportunité pour s'engouffrer, exploiter davantage sa coopération avec le Sénégal, qui est quand même un pays ouvert et très accueillant, qui partage beaucoup de points communs avec la Corée.
So I hope and I think every Egyptian hoping for a wonderful relationship in the nearest future, and it will be done for sure regarding the Africa-Korea summit, which will be held soon.
The enthusiasm from the journalists of 11 African countries also speak for the avid interest in Korea-Africa Summit, which is to be held from June 5th to the 6th. Spanning the distance of over 10,000 kilometers and across the 600 years, Korea and Africa are now entering a new era in history. At the first Korea-Africa Summit, which is to be held in June, Korea and Africa will be strengthening their global friendship, which can take them far in the future.
Thank you.